aspects of the other. So going back to the very beginning, in looking at the other, instead of growing up with that narcissistic God nucleus that all of us are born with, and that keeps expanding until we meet God somewhere out there beyond the great beyond, or somewhere internally in the innermost space of our being, we will keep pursuing that super pleasurable, omnipotent, everlasting, subtly continuing cosmogasm, which furnishes us a yardstick that our mind can use to measure all of our behavior, all of our productions, all of our achievements, and every aspect of life. Because part of the mind's job is a translation of the beauty of the art and divinity of the universe into the reality of the individual and everyday life in the here and now. It's interesting that during the approach to the seventh chakra, we again must deal with time. We again must deal with the dualities, which tend to delay us and retard us in the self-too development. And moments of enlightenment are moments when we get flashes of the eternal beyond the time and into the universal, everlasting, totally expanded space that includes the internal as well as the external. So in summary then, we can see how the chakras dovetail with our point of view. We could also see that in the organic development through the various levels of the chakras, that about the third decade is when we have the potential to biologically and psychologically and mentally achieve perfection should we have perfect space of eternal love and joy and happiness as we have developed biologically. But we can, at any given time, have flashes of that. And what we need to expand that at any time during our life. Now, in moving toward looking at how this all comes together, if we take all of the theories that are bound now related to time and space and bring them together as subsystems of the one general universal system, we will see that in some way these systems have moved and developed on their own time, timeless time, but in their own rhythm and vibrational expression, moving us toward that oneness that we can be conscious of and move us beyond the conflict and the problems associated with duality, and moves us from needing to be king of the mountain to seeing that we're all born king or queen of the mountain, and that all of us are entitled, and indeed in reality share the space, not one over another based on any ism or any of this self-to proclamations. So the idea of kingship, the idea of emperorship, the idea of all of these things connecting us to the Godhead is really true for every human being, not just following some mythological bloodlines that we have been taught by our culture, depending in part on what part of the earth that we're born in. And our connection with the symbols of these beings that we have chosen to be king or emperor or our leader, supposedly because they are closer to the imitation of the Almighty, we use them as models, but as long as they're out there, we can never quite achieve what the model has demonstrated, because you've got to go through the duality to get there, and you can't get there by going through from the singularity through the duality to the triality, or the trial, or the threesome. That's where the mystery of the 3 in 1 again comes in. That built into the secrets of the 3 in 1 is a certain unknown factor, which we most often refer to as God, is the unknown, divine, marvelous system that keeps us moving toward connecting with one another. If we line up our self-awareness, our self-consciousness to include everything in the universe, thus avoiding the conflicts inherent in duality. So theories like string theory, theories like general systems theory, theories like chaos theory, theories like relativity, all of which keep pointing us back to our oneness roots and to our oneness fruits. Needs to be lined up to see how that creates and combines into one system of universal one law. So part of the secret of level 3 is letting go of everything that we have thought to be valuable in self-1 and self-2, and thus opening the door to the invisible and the mysterious. We're on the verge now of finding how light and the speed of light contributes to future creation. We're on the verge now of finding out how some of the invisibilities of space contributes to future creations and to future travel into the universe. All of this will be manifest if the critical mass of energy keeps moving us upward, outward, and inward as we blossom into our individual, universal self. So, namaste, and we look forward to the next session, where again we will touch on the summary and we will make specific recommendations how to use some of the insights that we've touched on in a very practical, real way in your own life. Thank you for listening. It's been fun sharing some of these thoughts with you. See you next time.
For more information, please go to Dr. Weaver's email, selfspacereality@